working on a third dose.
Pfizer says it's going back to participants in its phase 1 trial who have already received both doses of its COVID-19 vaccine to give some of them a third shot to see if it's safe to do so and if that provides any extra protection. The company also says it's been discussing with regulators the possibility of studying a modified booster shot that would specifically target some of those new variants, such as the South African variant, which has raised concerns about the possibility of it being somewhat resilient toward our current vaccines. Mark Remillard, ABC News.
Study in the New England Journal of Medicine on Israelis who have received the Pfizer shot now shows it's working incredibly well, scientists say. In the real world, 2 shots proving 94% effective against symptomatic COVID-19 cases. President Biden today marking 50 million COVID shots so far, the halfway point of the 100 million vaccine doses promised in his first 100 days. We could find out more information today about the single-car crash that left golf great Tiger Woods' leg shattered.
The investigation is far from over. Authorities indicated speed may have been a factor. They expect to learn more about the vehicle prior to the crash because it's equipped with a data recorder, similar to a black box on a plane, which should reveal how fast the SUV was traveling.
ABC's Ken Moten. Investigators say Woods was not under the influence, but witnesses say they saw him impatient in the parking lot of his hotel beforehand because he was blocked in by another car unloading luggage. Texas Governor Greg Abbott in an address to those in his state.
Many of you are angry, and you have a right to be. I'm angry too. At a time when essential services were needed the most, the system broke.
He says they're using every possible resource to figure out what happened. This is ABC News.
What's the most important factor for determining a coin's value?
Rarity.
And now, the COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in the creation of a modern rarity.
When the West Point Mint was shut down due to health concerns, 240,000 emergency production 2020 American Eagle silver dollars were minted in Philadelphia for 13 days only.
And that makes these coins with the P-Mint attribution the second rarest coin in the entire American Eagle bullion coin series.
Less than 1,500 of these extraordinary silver dollar coins remain. Hurry, call government.com at 1-800-969-0689.
To learn more about these emergency production American Eagle silver dollar coins, call 1-800-969-0689.
Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $10 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-969-0689 now to secure your Philadelphia Mint American Eagle silver dollar coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-969-0689.
On Capitol Hill, the House today is set to vote on a bill called the Equality Act. It would extend protections in America's civil rights and labor laws to members of the LGBTQ community. Opponents say it would force some people into actions that contradict their religious beliefs. More schools opening after coronavirus shutdowns. Over 60,000 kids in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade are heading back into schools this morning in New York City after a shutdown that started back in November. Michigan's governor now says by Monday, 97% of schools in her state will have at least some sort of in-person learning option. More protests on the streets of Myanmar. More than 3 weeks after the military coup there, now Facebook says it's removing all of the Myanmar military or military-controlled pages from its site, as well as Instagram. Facebook is also blocking any ads from businesses linked to the military there. And ABC's Alex Stone has a mid-air mystery over New Mexico.
American Airlines Flight 2292 was flying from Cincinnati to Phoenix. Over northern New Mexico, the pilots radioing in.
Have any targets up here? We just had something go right over the top of us.
The audio from live ATC, but nothing was on radar. The pilots describing what they saw.
I hate to say this, looked like a long cylindrical object. It almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing.
What it was, nobody knows. The FBI is investigating. Alex Stone, ABC News.
This is ABC News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
You know, folks are saying once you've used a Massey Ferguson, you won't ever want another tractor. They're tough, versatile, and dependable. And now with the change of season special at NC Tractor and Farm Supply, you'll be wise to get your special deal. Our tractors have been running in families for generations. Ask about the Phil Sheehan Fall Special going on right now. NC Tractor, 299 Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton. Call 288-0395.
Good morning and happy Thursday. Temperatures are starting not too chilly this morning, and highs this afternoon quite pleasant once again. Not as warm as yesterday's, but highs today still in the mid to upper 60s. We'll see a mostly sunny to partly cloudy sky. Mostly clear to partly cloudy overnight tonight, when the upper 30s to near 40 Friday morning. We start dry on Friday, but showers move in by Friday midday. Scattered showers likely Friday afternoon and evening, with highs cooler in the mid to upper 40s. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
It seems to happen most mornings. The temperature starts dropping a little bit after daybreak, but it started out at 46 when I arrived this morning. Now it's 42, but it will be climbing back up fast to 67 for a daytime high today and mostly sunny skies. We've got rain coming Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, possibly some rain showers and clearing out of here again for the second day of March. But let's enjoy this day and make it a good one. 6 minutes after 7, you're listening to WCAB in Rutherfordton, serving the foothills of the Carolinas from 100.9 FM, 590 AM. Now I have these death announcements. Beryl Blackwell Bailey, age 72, of Forest City, died Wednesday at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. Services will be private for the family, and Paget and King Mortuary is serving the family of Beryl Blackwell Bailey of Forest City. Morris J. Bridges, 87, of Ellenboro, died Wednesday. Those arrangements incomplete and will be announced by Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service. Again, that's Morris J. Bridges of Ellenboro. Wilbert Lee Lawrence, age 79, died February 14th at his home in Asheville, formerly of Rutherford County. There will be a private viewing and burial at Pruitt Funeral Home Saturday at 2 o'clock. Social distancing and wearing a mask is a must. Pruitt Funeral Home has been in charge of these arrangements, or will be in charge of these arrangements for Wilbert Lee Lawrence. Roland Arrowwood, age 93, of Rutherfordton, died Wednesday, February 24th at his home. Those arrangements still incomplete and will be announced by Mike Mahan's Funeral Home and Cremation Services. Again, that's Roland Arrowwood. Roger David Arrowwood, 67, of Spindeld, passed away on Saturday, February the 20th. A private service will be held at a later date for family and friends, and Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Roger David Arrowwood. Willie Mae Lovelace, 85, of Shelby, died Monday, February 23rd. A celebration of life will be announced in the spring, and Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Services will be in charge of those arrangements for Willie Mae Lovelace. Donald Lee Sane Sr., 68, of Rutherfordton, passed away Tuesday, February 23rd. Graveside services will be held 2 p.m. Thursday, today, at Eternal Hills Memorial Park. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Donald Lee Sane Sr. Dorothy Thompson Key, age 75, of Forest City, died Friday, February 19th at Mission Hospital Memorial Campus. Dorothy will lie in state today at Gilkey United Methodist Church from 2:30 until 3 o'clock, and the graveside service will be at 3 o'clock today at the Gilkey United Methodist Church Cemetery. Burial will follow in the Gilkey United Methodist Church Cemetery. McMahon's Funeral Home and Cremation Service. In charge of those arrangements for Dorothy Thompson Key. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information of these and others as they become available to us, you can tune in this morning at 11:35, and then again at 5:30, following the 5:10, following the during the afternoon report for complete information on these and others. It's almost 10 minutes after 7, and we're getting into the call-around news report coming up here in just a few moments. Let me remind you, we have high school football Friday night, tomorrow night here in the foothills. Believe it or not, high school football. Wow, in springtime. What a change. We'll have that broadcast for the Eastern Central game live from the stadium tomorrow night.
There is a new law in the works in San Francisco taking aim at tech companies. The proposed law would ban businesses from having employee cafeterias. Now, the new law is intended to force employees at companies like Twitter, Facebook, Uber, Google, and Apple to go out for lunch in order to help local restaurants who complain that they cannot compete with these employee cafeterias. Their problem is that tech companies don't charge their employees for meals. Food's a perk. Now, to no one's surprise, the proposed law has the backing of the Golden Gate Restaurant Association. Executive Director Gwyneth Borden says they simply can't compete with free. We conservatives know that, trying to deal with you people on the left. It's about time you learned it. Anyway, if these liberal lawmakers get their way, thousands of their liberal voters and employees of liberal tech companies will have to step over piles of human poop on San Francisco streets, risk getting mugged or worse, to dig into their own pockets to pay for their own food. This could be the first time in recorded history liberal politicians have gone on record against the concept of a free lunch for their own people. This is a big deal.
Benjamin Franklin once wrote,
Nothing can be said to be certain, except death and taxes.
Hold on there, Benji. You can't even rely on that much thanks to identity thieves.
Pardon?
Tax forms have all your personal info in one place, and this is the season when it can get emailed, shared, and possibly exposed to identity thieves. They might even try to file your tax return before you do.
This shan't stand.
No, it shan't. Because LifeLock monitors your info and alerts you to identity threats. If you become a victim, a dedicated U.S.-based specialist will help fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but LifeLock helps you keep what's yours. Join today and save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com with promo code NEWS. That's promo code NEWS for 25% off at LifeLock.com. And remember,
25% saved is 25% earned.
We are remembering the classic oldies
right here on WCAB Rutherfordton.
The best of both worlds now. AM 590 and 100.9 FM.
Being a teenager is tough. There's the constant pressure to be liked.
Endless worrying about college.
Cyberbullying, high expectations, all the negativity.
There's no question. Being a teenager is tough. And what do North Carolina's teens do when they want to block out the noise and clear their heads?
We play!
Yeah! Research shows that teenagers who participate in high school sports have lower stress levels, more confidence, and greater self-esteem. And then there's the biggest benefit of all.
High school sports are fun.
Not just fun.
They're a lot of fun.
Encourage your teenagers to participate in a sport or activity when they go to high school. They'll stress less and smile more. And they'll be laying the foundation for a happier, healthier future.
This message presented by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the North Carolina Athletic Directors Association.
Good morning. Good morning.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Kid Lewis and Foster Crawford robbed a Wichita Falls, Texas bank, during which they killed a cashier. Not only did they not get any money, later that night, with the help of Texas Rangers, they were captured. The townspeople were understandably upset, and the next day a mob started gathering outside the jail. By evening, several thousand people were on the street. Mysteriously, the Texas Rangers were called away to Amarillo. And when the mob attacked the jail, the local authorities gave a show of resistance and allowed the prisoners to be taken. Some of the mob wanted to burn the men, but it was decided just to lynch them instead. Kid Lewis was the first to go. A man shinnied up a telephone pole and passed the rope across the crossbar. All the time the kid was jeering at the crowd, laughing and cursing. When the kid was asked if he had any last words, he responded, "If you are impatient, swing me up now. I ain't afraid to die. Pull the rope." Someone asked his name. He said it was younger Lewis, and his mother and father resided in Missouri. A voice from the mob asked, "Any message?" The kid said, "Well, tell my father I was not scared a bit, that I died like a nervy man." With the kid continuing to joke with the crowd, someone yelled, "Time is up." In an instant, Kid Lewis was pulled above the mob. The people agreed no gamer man ever died, that he was the coolest man in the crowd. Tomorrow, we'll take a look at the last minutes of Foster Crawford, the kid's cohort in crime. He died a bit differently. You've just heard another story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
7:16 on this spring-like Thursday morning. Let's head to the phones and find out what's been going on around our neighborhood in the past 24 hours or so. And we're on the phone right now with Sheriff Chris Francis to give us that update. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning, Jim. Hope you're doing well this morning.
I am. Can you believe high school football is finally coming to reality here in the county?
I tell you what, we're excited about it. We'll take some Thursday night football and enjoy it.
Yes.
It may not be able to watch. Maybe we can listen to it or watch it online.
Yeah. Thursday, let's see, Chase plays tonight, and Thomas Jefferson plays tonight at East, and Rutherford East and Central play tomorrow night, and that'll be the game we'll broadcast tomorrow night. But both Thomas Jefferson and Chase are on the road, so we wish the success to all of our teams.
We certainly do. It's hard to explain how much that means to these young men and their families. It's a long time coming. I've not seen spring football or late winter football, but we're excited about it.
Yes, we are. Sure, tell us what's been going on in your department.
Jim, in the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has responded to 97 calls for service. There have been 14 arrests processed at the county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 148. Among those arrested, James Donald Dover, 43-year-old male of Rutherford, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 secure bond. Timothy Lloyd Green, 44-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with obtaining property by false pretense and possession of stolen property, received a $15,000 bond. Dominique Marquez Mills, 24-year-old male of Spindale, was charged with possession of Schedule 2, carrying a concealed gun, possession of Schedule 6, received a $13,000 secure bond. Jahari Tarleton Woods, 45-year-old male of Florida City, was charged with possession of Schedule 2 methamphetamine, larceny of a firearm, breaking and entering and larceny, and received I believe a $54,000 secure bond. Davis Lee Vickers, 29-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with 2 counts of failure to appear and received a $500 secure bond. Jonathan Andrew Price, 25-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with 6 counts of failure to appear and received a $6,500 secure bond. Brittany Nicole Baden, 33-year-old female of Mooresboro, was charged with failure to appear and received a $5,000 secure bond. Timothy Dale Frazier, 55-year-old male of Shelby, was charged with possession with intent to manufacture, sell, and deliver meth, possession of Schedule 2 narcotics, and possession of Schedule 3 narcotics, and received a $15,000 secure bond. Julian Hunter Bailey, 25-year-old male of Rutland, was charged with trespass and received a $500 secure bond. Among our incidents, we had a lost property, the roads of Rutherford County. The victim had left a box containing 3 handguns, 2 Sky 9mm handguns, $250 apiece, and a Ruger LCP in a box in the back of his truck, and it had gotten away when he drove off, still unable to locate this time. Had a damage to property on Brock Drive in Forest City. Someone damaged the mailbox, appears to be intentional, causing at least $20 worth of damage. And Jim, that's what we had to report today.
And I was just thinking, so as many drug situations now, years ago, long before you were around in the sheriff's department, the biggest offense locally was bootlegging, moonshining. They were arresting folks. Now it seems to be drugs everywhere.
And I'm sure the law enforcement thought they had it bad then, but I can assure you this is a lot different and a lot worse. Methamphetamine and heroin and fentanyl are very, very dangerous substances.
Oh, it's that meth is something else.
I would like to make one other comment. The deputies did a great job putting out the Nixle yesterday afternoon around 5 o'clock. By 5:45, we had a suspect in custody for a B&E to residents. Folks on the road there on Wallace Road where the incident had occurred saw a vehicle dropping a man off and him going into the woods, matching the description of the Nixle that we had put out just an hour, less than an hour before, and we were able to get Jahari Woods in custody, and that very appreciative of the deputies, the detectives, and the citizens who called that in.
Good. I appreciate folks responding to those kind of things, too.
It's good to be aware of your surroundings and watch what the Sheriff's Office puts out. It does help.
Sheriff, thank you very much for this report, and you be safe out there today. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. 20 minutes after the hour, 7. Thursday morning, tremendous Thursday morning it is.
This is Gilbert. If you owe the IRS past due taxes, don't call those toll-free national numbers. Local, affordable help is right here in Rutherford County. Stop garnishments, levies, and liens. Call Gilbert Carmona at 828-289-9300. All initial consultations are free. Call Gilbert, 828-289-9300.
And we're heading over toward 911 Communication Center now. Get a report. And here is Stacy to report to us. Stacy, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on that report today?
In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communication Centers processed 344 911 calls and administrative calls, which consist of 39 EMS calls, 20 for rescue, and law enforcement Sheriff's Office 97, Forest City 63, Rutherford 59, Lake 4, and Spindale 62. Under fire calls, dispatched Bills Creek to 2 motor vehicle accidents, Forest City to industrial fire alarm, Rutherford to 2 motor vehicle accidents, Rutherford to a industrial fire alarm, SGO to a motor vehicle accident, SGO to an industrial fire alarm, and Spindale to a motor vehicle accident. That's all we have.
Thanks, Stacy. I appreciate it. You have a great day.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Let's find out now what's been happening around the Shiloh, Danieltown, Oakland Fire Department. And here's Ruby Taylor to report. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's been happening over there?
Well, the fire department had 2 calls, one to a vehicle accident, another to an industrial fire alarm. On my birthday counter, I've got Deborah Robbins, Dr. Sian James, Christy Baynard, and Lawrence Gibson is having birthdays today, and hope these people have a nice day. Signs are in the neck today and going to the arms tomorrow. Jim, that's all I got.
I appreciate it. Ruby, you have a wonderful day.
You too, and bye-bye.
Bye.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Gary Wilson is our next reporter. He's up in the Fairfield Mountains Fire District in Bills Creek community. Gary, how you doing this morning?
I'm hanging in there, Jim. How you doing?
Well, we almost got a month completed now, just a few more days. We were rolling into our 3rd month this year.
Yeah, the Ides of March are upon us. Hopefully not that kind of way, but it's it'll be interesting to see what we get in March, because we've had a rather mild winter so far.
We sure have.
So we'll this weather the last 2 days has been unreal. About 72 degrees yesterday, and we're sitting on about 37 this morning, and gonna hit up around 70 again today, but then that'll be it for a few days, looks like, at least for the weekend. But everything else has been pretty quiet. Bells Creek had a wreck call they responded to yesterday. We were quiet overnight, and everything's good to go up here this morning.
All right, nice and quiet again. I like that.
I like that, too.
All right, Gary, thanks so much. You enjoy your day and enjoy the beauty of the sun, and I'll see you next time.
All right, talk to you then.
Thanks. All right, bye-bye. Gary Wilson reporting out of Fairfield Mountains and Bills Creek this morning. Well, Chase is set to make the trip to Cherryville for a non-conference showdown, or some folks call it Cherryville, while Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy will travel to Community School of Davidson for a conference tilt. TJC is slated to kick off at 6:30, while Chase will kick off at 7. In 2019, Chase beat Cherryville 40-0, so we'll see what happens tonight. Should have a report on that tomorrow. And Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy will be at Community School of Davidson when the Griffons take the field tonight. They will face a CSD team coming off a 5-7 season in 2019. Head coach Jerry Cash says his players are ready for action and are ready for the challenge, and we'll see how all that turns out. Tomorrow night, of course, is Chase. It is East RS at East, and that'll be our game of the week. Countdown to kickoff starts at 6:30. Mr. Friday Night will be on the air with that game, and we'll get a football report tomorrow morning from him also to give us a preview of the season and what it looks like for late winter, early spring football here in the foothills. Here's Bob Hodge now reporting to us from the Hudlow Fire District. Good morning, Bob. How you doing?
We're doing just fine on this pretty Thursday morning.
Well, have you enjoyed these past 2 days?
Oh, it's been nice the last few days there, but look like we're going to pay for it. Look like we're going to go back into a rainy spell.
Yeah.
After today. And, but at least it don't look like it's going to be any bad weather there, so. But I tell you what, yesterday was Chamber Commerce Day, wasn't it?
It sure was. I loved it. Today looks like it may shape up to be the same way.
Well, today's going to be right pretty, but look like by tomorrow get that rain back. But look like it ain't going to be too bad. We ain't going to have no icy weather or anything. So
that's a good thing.
But Jim, everything's going along good up here. We hadn't had any fire calls overnight, so that's good. And so far, things are going along good. Want to say happy birthday to Paula McMillan this morning. Other than that, things are quiet so far.
Good. You're doing a good job up there, Bob. Keep it quiet.
Well, thank you, and you have a good day.
I'll see you tomorrow, Bob. Thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
28 minutes after 7 o'clock, and we're at 42 degrees right now. 42 degrees. Warming up nicely today to about 67 after the sun gets really up there. We had almost full moon last night, too. Did you see that? Boy, that's beautiful. So full moon means we can start howling at the moon at night.
Good morning. As we are experiencing the impact of COVID-19, let's stop predicting and let's prepare. Life changes, and then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called the unexpected. So when it comes to your financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm your Edward Jones financial advisor, Andrew Tisdale. A job loss, a change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call me today at 828-287-9197. Our office is located at Food Line Plaza in Rutherford. This is Edward Jones, making sense of investing, and a member of the SIPC. Bye.
Bye. Let's see what's been happening over in the Cherry Mountain Fire District the past 24 hours or so. And Sue Price is on the phone with me right now to give us the news. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jim.
How you
Beautiful
feeling?
Morning over here.
Isn't it nice? I'll tell you.
Oh, it is.
It's great to live in Rutherford County.
I asked Richard yesterday, I said, if we're getting 70 degrees in February, what we're going to get in July.
Oh, boy. I know.
Oh, me. But anyway, we'll take it while it's here. It's nice. enjoying it. But we'll go back into the rain tomorrow, I reckon, but that'll be okay. I hope we're not getting over our rain now and not get any when we need it for gardens, but
I do too,
have to see what happens. Well, let's see. I didn't have any calls from the fire department. Don't have any birthdays on my church calendar. On my personal calendar, I got a birthday for Linda Bradley. So happy birthday, Linda. I hope you'll have a good one. And we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a good one on their special day. Don't have anything on Fairviews. In my announcements, on March the 7th at 7 p.m., the Golden Valley Crusaders will be singing at Riverside Baptist Church. And so far, that's the only announcement I have. It's just been a real quiet time. But I believe we're getting back into some stuff now, don't you?
Well, the days are getting a little longer. I like that.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit. We're getting a little more things going on.
Things are
People
opening
get
up a
out a
little
little bit more. Maybe. Maybe the shots are helping. I hope so.
I hope so. The governor opened up things a little bit starting March the 5th, whenever it is. But I'll go over that a little bit later this morning. He's opened things up, expanded a little bit. We're still not fully open, but maybe people will get a little more positive and start doing some things.
Yeah. We're supposed to go today to get our first shot. So
really? Well, good.
I'm glad to be getting that.
Good.
And so far, that's about it, Jim. It's just quiet and calm over here looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one.
Thanks, Sue. Thanks for talking with us, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cherry Mountain reporting in now.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers of Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. They continue to strive hard to keep that honor. Come on in and see for yourself. Take a look at the all-new design 2021 F-150 or reserve an all-new 2021 Bronco coming in the spring. Don't miss out on the automobile you've been wanting at the Sisk Family Ford price. Take your pick while the picking is good on Oak Street in Forest City.
Well, one thing about springtime, whether it's here now or coming later, you could already get started with those planting seeds. And the place to go get some of those, of course, will be Washburn Store. They've got plenty of them, and you got plenty of choices there. Just stop over by there and tell them what you're looking for, and they'll have them. I remember Ed used to be really excited this time of year when he'd get his seeds in, and now they're continuing that tradition. And Washburn Store now has planting seeds of all kinds, and it's time for planting season to be considering that. So go ahead and get what you need over there. Go by Washburn Store. Tell them what you're looking for, what you'd like to have. You'd also find some work gloves while you're there. If you're going to be digging around in the dirt, get you some of those work gloves, maybe a pair of overalls. All kinds of things available for you and yours at our historically significant Washburn General Store. All right, let's head over toward the not too far down the road from Washburn Store. We're stopping off at Drop-In Family Mart there in Boston. Good morning, Jessica. How you doing?
Well, actually, you got Audrey this morning. Jessica got a little busy, and I had to come back and take over for her. So, Jim, how you doing?
Great, Audrey. It's good to talk to you.
It's good to talk to you also.
I'm glad you're busy over there, Jessica. I had to go back to work.
Yeah, I know, right? She's just wide open and people everywhere, so that tells me she must be doing a good job on breakfast.
I'll tell you right now, it sounds like it. When she gives a report, it sounds like she knows what she's doing back there.
That's right, it does. But I just wanted to let you know, back there in the deli at lunch today, they're going to be doing a Fish Friday. So come on by and pick up a good fish sandwich or a fish plate. And back in our meat market, we're doing rump roast and bottom round roast on sale this week for $3.99 a pound. And we've got our center cut bone-in pork chops on sale for $2.99 a pound. So some real good buys there in the deli and deals in the meat market. So we'd love to see everyone.
Well, folks are finding it a comfortable place to stop and buy breakfast. I know I hear people talking about it from time to time. They say, well, I went by and tried some of those biscuits y'all been talking about, so I'm glad to know they're trying it and loving it.
That's right, Jim. I am too. And I know I just wanted to mention that we did get a fresh produce in yesterday, so we're in real good shape right there, and country ham and some of that good stands pimento cheese, so just come on by.
All right. Audrey, it's good to talk to you.
Same here, Jim, always.
Good to see you. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right, have a good day. Bye-bye.
That's Audrey there at the Drop-In Family Mart there in Bostic, right across sort of semi-cornered there from the post office on the highway, Bostic Sunshine Highway. We hope you'll go by. Maybe a stop on your way to a Washburn store. On your way back from Washburn store, you can stop in and get do business with both of those fine locally owned companies. And I support buying locally as often as you possibly can. Whatever it is possible, shop at home and support our local businesses. Those that are homegrown businesses, I like that. Sometimes it's impossible, but I know. But when you can, even if you have to pay 50 cents more for it, I'd shop at home. All right, let's head up towards Shingle Hollow now and talk with Tina, see what's happening up there. Tina, what's happening up there?
Oh, it's calm up here this morning, and it's a beautiful morning.
I like calm and beautiful.
And yesterday was just one for the books, wasn't it? I stayed outside about all day long, just little breaks in between.
Yeah.
The kids rode bicycles and scooters and jumped on the trampoline, and even got the roller skates out on the carport. So we had a good day. Church was good too.
Well, good.
Well, it was 41 degrees on my front porch this morning. Sun looks beautiful coming up over my neighbor's yard. And this morning I want to say I'm so thankful for my neighbors. It's good to be able to depend on neighbors looking out and watching. Just like the sheriff was saying this morning, being aware of your surroundings.
That's right.
And both fire departments, Green Hill and Shingle Hollow, were quiet. They were all quiet and had no calls. Thankful for that. And for birthdays, Piney Knob has Ray Duncan and David Williams. You might know Ray Duncan. He sings a little bit.
I do know Ray Duncan, yes. He's sung a long time, has he?
Oh, he is. He has, and he is just, he's in his 90s, and he still can do some assertions that are just, from memory, that are just beautiful.
Wow, yeah, I remember Ray very well.
So anybody that knows him, call him, tell him happy birthday.
Tell him I said hello when you talk to him again.
Okay, I'm going to try to call him today, check on him, tell him happy birthday. And David Williams is a good fella, too. He's married to my husband's cousin and goes to church with us, a real good fella. So I hope he has a great day, too.
Wish him a happy birthday as well.
Mm-hmm. Can't think of anything else that's going on right now. And their church announcements or anything big, but everybody just be safe out there. And the sun is bright, so wear your sunglasses and watch out for other cars. I think it might have caused a couple accidents yesterday, the sun getting in people's eyes.
Mm-hmm. Tina, thank you very much, and you have a good day up there. We'll see you tomorrow.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. That's Tina White reporting out of the Shingle Hollow Fire District now, 7:38, and we'll move up to Union Mills next.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
It's great to get discounts on beautiful furniture, and thanks to the Recliner Center, you can get 10% off everything in the store. 10% off lift chairs, 10% off sofas, 10% off recliners, 10% off bedding. Angela has changed her hours to suit your schedule. The Recliner Center is now open Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 4, and Saturdays, 9 to 2. And, of course, you can make an appointment by calling 828-395-3562. Come by soon and pick out the recliner, sofa, or lift chair that best suits you and get 10% off your purchase. Come by and see Angela Cooper at the Recliner Center today. The Recliner Center is on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Union Mill's our next stop. Brenda Kelly's on the phone now to give us an update from up that way. Brenda, good morning.
Good morning. How are you on this thankful Thursday?
What's wrong with our Tar Heels?
They done real good on the game before this, but boy, they done real bad on this one, didn't they?
They sure did.
I watched it up till about, I don't know, they had about 10 or 11 minutes left, and I said, this is getting on my nerves. I ain't watching it.
I bet Roy Williams regrets that he booked that game. After.
Oh, well, but still, it's good that they get out there and at least playing and stay in shape and stuff, you know, with another team. But it was pitiful on our part.
Yeah, it was.
But that's all right. They're still my team. If they don't never win another game, I just love them Tar Heels. But that dude that hit them 3-pointers for him, he never got hot last night. But the game before that, he was hot with them.
He's a really good shooter.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what happened. But
well,
they lost. So
they'll come back. They'll come around.
Oh yeah, they'll come back, and it's weird that you're having football when it's time for March Madness.
Isn't that crazy? I tell
yeah,
you.
It's crazy as the weather, ain't it?
And Braves baseball starting here too. We got baseball, football, and basketball going at one time almost.
Oh my goodness!
By the way, those Tar Heel calendars that many folks have liked and enjoyed, we still have a few, not very many, but the schedule on them is, you might as well ignore the schedule on it because it's absolutely wrong. But the pictures are still nice.
Yeah.
And the calendar is still nice, but the schedule on there is wrong.
Yeah, you can go back and, like me, I like to go back and say, well, now what dude made that point, and I'll look him up on that.
Yeah.
Some of them I can remember their numbers and stuff. I know Garrison Brooks number 15, but some of them new ones like Leaky Black and them, it's hard for me to remember them because I ain't got used to them yet. But that's all right. But we hope everybody's having a good day. Let's see, I've got 36 degrees on the front porch. I don't have any birthdays, any anniversaries. I don't know of anything going on. Everybody better get their umbrellas and their raincoats and all that out and get ready, hadn't they? Because it's going to be raining.
It's coming. It really is.
Yeah. But at least it's not going to be snow, or we hope it's not going to be snow.
Temperature's got to drop a lot before that happens, but you never know what's going to happen this crazy weather around here.
You sure don't, that's for sure. I got a phone call from a nice lady, one of I forgot her name, listeners in Spindale yesterday. She said she enjoyed just listening to me and you so much.
Well, good.
She said, y'all ought to just do a talk show.
Oh, my goodness.
You're crazy.
Oh, my goodness. We could do it.
Yeah, we could, but that's all right. But it's good to hear from our listeners every now and then.
It is. It's good for them to respond back to us like that. I'm glad she called you.
But I don't know of anything going on, so I guess you better go to Ellenburg and see if it's still down there and Luther's doing all right.
You have a great day.
Have a good one. We'll catch you later.
Right, bye-bye. And Luther Gilligan is up next.
Henson Building Materials is returning to our regular days and hours to better serve the fast-growing building needs of the Forest City area. Our hours will be 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. We'll still be taking safety measures, cleaning, wearing masks, and social distancing, all while our friendly and knowledgeable staff will be taking your orders on a variety of building, remodeling, and DIY projects. With the combined experience of over 50 years, Jamie Earls, Terry Dunaway, and Randy Harrell in our 10,000 square foot showroom will get you in and out, loaded and back to your project, all with the flexibility in ordering. And while you're at it, visit our Homeworks by Henson showroom with our 2 designers for all of your kitchen and bath cabinet and countertop design needs. Time to get out, get busy, and visit Henson Building Materials. Building starts here.
Now let's see if we get Luther Gilligan on the phone. Sir, would you put the phone to Luther Gilligan's ear and mouth so he can talk to us? Hello, Luther, you there?
Good morning.
Yeah.
I am here. You had to work on it to get him on the phone.
That's right. It's worth it, though.
Had to turn his hearing aids up.
Oh, my.
Where you hear what's going on. But we're having a good time down here this morning. Sun's coming up. It's going to be another nice day today. We're going to enjoy it. But it's quiet this morning, not a whole lot going on. Everybody's just trying to get their biscuits and their gas and heading on out to work. The fire department, they had 2 medical calls, 1 brush fire yesterday. Other than that, they quiet all night last night, and everything's peaceful then. Just nothing else going on there. But I want to wish Miss Helen Hilton a happy birthday today. She's having a birthday today, so I hope she has a good day. Jim, hope you have a good day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Luther. Enjoy your day now.
Take care now.
Bye. Luther Gilligan. That's Luther Gilligan from the Ellenboro Report. Now it's time for birthdays and anniversaries for this 25th of the month. February 25th. Birthdays and anniversaries were taken. We've cleared the phone lines for you to call in at 287-3356. And now's the time to call those into us. McCurry Deck Motors has been providing the stylish Buick for families for generations. Come browse a new selection and you'll find the car that everybody's talking about. The family-owned dealership is deeply entrenched in our community. They understand the needs of the customers and will work with them to find the perfect car, truck, or crossover for their lives. Experience the new Buick at McCurry Deck Motors. Take a look around the website to learn more about everything offered at McCurry Deck Motors, 1740 U.S. Highway 74A, Forest City. That's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today while they're fresh. They're good. They're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about. Happy birthday. Todd's rushing back here with fast speed with birthdays in his hand. All 3 of them. Carol Bumgarner of Golden Valley is 86. Ken Justice, 79. Cherish Cole is 19 down in Cliffside, works over at Ingalls. Want to wish all these folks a great, big, happy birthday. Thanks for letting us be a part of your celebration, and we're happy to wish you a happy birthday. Now stand by. Coming up, Keys to Confident Living, and we'll play some classic oldies for you, and then come back a little after 8 o'clock. We'll talk to you a little bit.
One of the problems with growing older is thinking we have no more growing to do. Our attitude is summed up in a feeling that our current knowledge is all we need to comfortably get along in life. Over time, our brains and muscles become atrophied and weak. Stuck in a rut summarizes our situation. Some shrivel up mentally before they grow old physically. Continually growing is important regardless of how old we get. In my father's middle 80s, he was voraciously reading the Bible, biographies of great leaders, National Geographic, and many other stimulating articles. My father-in-law read through a set of encyclopedias prior to his death in his mid-80s. Wisdom, the wise use of knowledge, is to be one thing we constantly seek. The Bible advises us to continually seek wisdom and knowledge instead of silver and gold. A few practical steps can keep you on a regular learning curve of improvement. 1. Ask a lot of questions of others, not to pry, but to learn. 2. Learn from mistakes. Hopefully not all of the mistakes will be yours. 3. Make it a goal to learn something new every day. 4. Read a lot. Leaders are readers. And 5. Imitate the good characteristics you notice in others. Jesus said, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me." This is Bill Hostler with today's key to confident living. Scripts of these programs are sold in book form by calling toll-free 1-888-333-KEYS.
Our high school football game of the week broadcast is tomorrow night. RS at East Rutherford. Countdown to kickoff is 6:30. Broadcast game at 7 o'clock. We'll have all that action for you. Tonight, however, on Thursday night, Chase is traveling over to Cherville, and Thomas Jefferson travels to Community School of Davidson to Thursday night games and a Friday night game tomorrow night. We'll have that action for you here in February.
We are remembering the classic oldies right here on WCAB Rutherfordton. The best of both worlds now. AM 590 and 100.9 FM.
Preston. The latest COVID vaccine on the verge of emergency use authorization. The FDA could approve Johnson & Johnson's shot as soon as tomorrow. ABC's Whit Johnson takes a look.
New data showing Johnson & Johnson's one-shot vaccine may be 100% effective at preventing hospitalization and death. An early analysis hinting it may offer 70% protection against asymptomatic infections, making those vaccinated less likely to spread the disease.
Pfizer is also working on a possible third booster shot that would offer more protection against the coronavirus variants that keep popping up. President Biden to mark 50 million COVID shots so far. He promised 100 million in his first 100 days in office. All of this as the nation's largest school district prepares to send middle school students back into the classroom. In New York City, ABC's Aaron Katursky.
It has been hard for Nancy Schwartz to watch her middle school son navigate remote learning.
I've watched him go from an engaged, enthusiastic, curious student to a withdrawn, completely unenthusiastic, apathetic almost student.
She hopes that changes now that 62,000 New York City middle school students go back to their classrooms, some 5 days a week, others on a hybrid schedule depending on space. High schools are more complicated since some of them are being used as vaccination sites. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
U.S. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy before a House committee yesterday saying he plans to stay in the position for a long time, regardless of Democrats who'd like him gone.
DeJoy is a Republican donor. Democrats are pushing the White House to take action here, but President Joe Biden cannot remove the Postmaster General. Only the Board of Governors can. And so right now the White House is taking steps to try and fill the vacant seats on the board, and they could take action against DeJoy and remove him.
That's ABC congressional correspondent Rachel Scott. DeJoy apologizing for delays in mail-in ballots last year. You're listening to ABC News.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price-competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-721-4880. That's 800-721-4880. 800-721-4880. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
After the vicious cold snap that slammed Texas, crippling the power system and shutting off electricity to millions, Governor Greg Abbott is slamming the group that runs the grid.
Before the storm hit, ERCOT repeatedly assured the state and the public that ERCOT was prepared. Those assurances turned out to be false.
He's promising changes, including winterizing the power systems in his state. And while the electricity is back on, ABC's Jim Ryan says the big problem still is water.
The update from the Addison Park Apartments in Arlington between Dallas and Fort Worth is a good news, bad news scenario.
Have electricity, but no water.
Broken water pipes have left the complex with no running water for a week. A statewide shortage of plumbing parts has made fixing the pipe impossible, but the apartment managers scrounged enough hardware to provide a temporary solution.
That's the fire hydrant, and there's a hose connected to the fire hydrant.
Ashley Aguirre and her neighbors have no choice but to fill up whatever containers they can find to carry water into their apartments. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Australia's parliament has now passed a law requiring the big internet companies like Facebook and Google pay news sites for the content that gets posted. And the FBI is now investigating after pilots of an American Airlines flight saw what they said was a long cylindrical object fly by their plane over New Mexico. Nothing showed up on radar. This is ABC News.
So much is happening, but who can you trust? You need to check out Newsmax TV, the fastest growing news channel in America. Watch it on all major cable systems and see shows with Sean Spicer, Greg Kelly, Lindsay Keith, Stinchfield, and Rob Schmidt. They're giving you the real story on Biden and Pelosi. So download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone now or watch Newsmax on Roku, YouTube, Pluto, Zumo, and more. 30 million Americans watch Newsmax TV. So should you.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Hello and happy Thursday. This afternoon we'll see another mostly sunny to partly cloudy sky. Few more clouds possible today with highs in the mid to upper 60s. Mostly clear to partly cloudy overnight tonight. We start in the upper 30s and low 40s Friday morning. We start dry for Friday, but scattered showers arrive Friday afternoon. Better rain chance by Friday evening and overnight. Highs Friday only in the mid to upper 40s. Some showers this weekend. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
45 degrees right now, warming up nicely, though, up all the way up to 67 for this spring-like day here in the neighborhood. 45 right now, dropping back to 41 tonight. Now, rain returns to the forecast on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday. But then Tuesday, Wednesday, start a brand new month. Looks like it's mostly sunny. So we'll enjoy the spring-like weather while we can, because who knows when that next storm is going to pass through, coming up from the south, and it's going to knock on our door with about 1.5 feet of snow. Not saying, just remembering. All right, let's see. Well, we got some stuff to talk about here this morning, some interesting stuff I want you to know more about. But I want you to hear about this. These guys right here are fantastic. If you need help in getting your books ready for taxes, you need IE Accounting and Tax Service.
Now, how do you spell that?
ARYEE. IE Accounting and Tax Service is more than someone who fills out forms for you. They can very likely save you money. IE Accounting and Tax Service can help set up your bookkeeping at a lower price than anybody in the USA, guaranteed. Teach QuickBooks, handle your payroll, help with tax planning and implementation to recognize full value. IE Accounting and Tax Service can help if you're in trouble with the IRS or if you're unhappy with the way your tax returns were handled last year. Make a call to IE Accounting and Tax Service today. And you know what else?
I know you spell IEARYEE.
That's right, and they are forensic specialists. They specialize in handling fraud cases. From the simplest tax form to the more complex issues, IE Accounting and Tax Service could be the best decision you could make.
And that phone number is 828-395-1777, Main Street in Spindale.
ARYEE. That's how you spell it. Well, Governor Cooper yesterday made some modifications on his restrictions on businesses and gatherings. We'll go into the depth of that here in a few minutes as best I understand it. With some little help from my friends, we'll talk about what that means to us. Meanwhile, though, let's look at some other stories from here and there. The Rutherford County Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigation Division is seeking public's assistance in identifying a male suspect. The suspect committed breaking and entering and larceny from a residence in broad daylight while the victim was outside working in the yard. The breaking and entering and larceny occurred the 23rd of February on Wallace Road in Ellenboro. Anyone with information is asked to contact Detective Brendan Ellenberg with the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office at 286-2911 or Rutherford County Crime Stoppers at 286-TIPS. Meanwhile, on the 24th, approximately 5:45, deputies with the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office received a call from a resident of the Wallace Road area stating he had just seen a vehicle drop a black male off on the side of the road, and the male subject went into the woods. The resident had been made aware of the nixle that was sent out earlier and thought it may be the suspect that was being dropped off. Deputies with the Road Patrol Division quickly responded to the area and located Gahari Woods coming out of a wooded area on Wallace Road. Well, Woods was identified as the suspect from the earlier nixle and was placed under arrest at the time of the arrest. Deputies also located the methamphetamine on Woods. Investigators secured warrants on Woods for the earlier breaking and entering and larceny that had occurred, and Woods was transported to the slammer. Gahari Tarleton Woods was charged with breaking and entering, larceny after breaking and entering, larceny of a firearm, and possession of methamphetamine. Woods received a $54,000 secure bond and is currently incarcerated at the Rutherford County Slammer. Investigators would like to thank the public for their assistance in paying attention to those nixle reports as they become available. Now, the sheriff will have more information on that during his report this morning. Well, with the Daily Courier is reporting that with the new U.S. Census data not expected until September, the State Board of Elections is recommending moving all of this year's municipal elections to 2020. Yeah, I know. I get a little anxious when they start messing with elections, right? Executive Director Karen Brinson Bell also told the Elections Board Tuesday she recommends delaying the 2020 primary elections from March until May. The changes would need to be passed by the General Assembly. Bell said she would present these recommendations to a House committee. She's supposed to have done that yesterday. I'm not sure if that transpired or not, but 62 municipalities, including North Carolina's largest city of Charlotte, use districts or wards to elect council members. These districts are reapportioned every decade with data provided in the U.S. Census. Now, this data traditionally is finished by the end of March of the following year, and redistricting is completed by the summer. But the U.S. Census Bureau said results this year would be delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Numbers won't be delivered to the states until September 30th. So this poses a problem for the 2021 municipal elections, they say. Filing is currently set to begin in July. Holding elections under previous census data could pose constitutional and other legal issues for those 62 municipalities. The delayed census results could also create a tight turnaround for the 2022 primary elections, which are scheduled for March. North Carolina could be in line for an additional seat in Congress due to the population growth. Once redistricting is complete, it takes about 2 months for the State Board of Elections to finish coding and preparing ballots for the new districts. So we'll see how all that works out, how they finalize that, and if the legislature in Raleigh will even approve that, we don't know yet. Daily Courier is also reporting that the Grahamtown team, the G team, will host its annual Black History celebration on Friday from 5 until 7 at the Grahamtown Community Center, 129 First Street in Forest City. Organizers are hoping that 100 people will come out for food and fellowship. Participants may drive through and receive a spaghetti dinner and a free bag of groceries, or they may park their vehicles and socialize with others. Keisha McDowell, G-Team Director, said families will be safe. We want people to wear masks and follow safety protocols. McDowell says the event will be a time when people can come together and receive information on Black history and also information about the activities and work of the G-Team. The Grahamtown team is a nonprofit organization. Its purpose is to plan, support, educate, and execute opportunities to enrich the quality of life for Grahamtown and historic African-American neighborhoods in Forest City. All right, let's see if we can make some sense out of Governor Cooper's new executive order. There's a lot of whereases, and what forth and how comes and all this, but I'm thanks to article in today's edition of the Daily Courier, we'll see if we can make some sense out of it. Governor Cooper announced yesterday he's going to ease the state's COVID-19 restrictions beginning 5 p.m. on Friday. That's the 26th. As North Carolina's numbers continue to show improvement and vaccine distribution increases, Cooper announced the state will ease some of its COVID-19 restrictions. Executive Order number 195 will take effect 5 p.m. Friday and will expire 5 p.m. March 26th. Cooper said today's action is a show of confidence and trust, but we must remain cautious. People are losing their loved ones each day, he says. We must keep up our guard. Many of us are weary, but we cannot let the weariness win. Now is the time to put our strength and resilience to work so that we can continue to turn the corner and get through this, he said. Now, Secretary Mandy Cohen, North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, urged the residents to remain vigilant as restrictions loosen. Keep wearing a mask, wait 6 feet apart, and wash your hands. Dr. Cohen said, we've seen in the past how fragile progress can be, so we need to keep protecting each other while we get everyone a spot to get the shot. This executive order that came in yesterday lifts the modified stay-at-home order requiring people to stay at home and businesses to close to the public between 10 and 5 a.m. The number of people who may gather indoors will increase from 10 to 25, while 50 remains the limit for outdoors. The curfew on the sale of alcohol for on-site consumption will be moved from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Some businesses, including bars and amusement parks, will now be open for patrons indoors as they follow the new occupancy restrictions. Many businesses, venues, and arenas will have increased occupancy both indoors and outdoors. So indoors, rather than 10, we can go to 25. And in the wide outdoors, 50 is all we can do. Executive Order number 195 has two general categories of occupancy restrictions. See if any of this makes sense to you. 30% capacity and 50% capacity. Because indoor spaces have a higher risk of spread for COVID-19. Indoor facilities in the 30% occupancy category may not exceed 250 people per indoor room or indoor space. Now, 30% capacity, what does that mean? It may not exceed 250 person indoor spaces, such as meetings, receptions, conference spaces, bars, lounges, including tobacco, nightclubs, indoor arenas of amusement parks, movie theaters, entertainment facilities like bingo parlors, gaming establishments, sports arenas and fields and venues. Indoor event venues with more than 5,000 seats may be accepted from the 250-person limit if they follow safety measures up to 15% capacity. Now, 50% capacity limit, restaurants, breweries, wineries, distilleries, fitness and physical activity facilities such as gyms, bowling alleys, rock climbing facilities, pools, museums, aquariums, retailers, outdoor areas of amusement parks, salons, personal care, and tattoo parlors. Safety protocols such as masks, social distancing, and frequent hand washing will continue to be important as people adjust to the new order. Wednesday also marked the first day of eligibility for teachers to receive vaccinations as the state begins to expand access to Group 3 essential workers. Due to manufacturers' shipping delays caused by inclement weather, DHHS continues to work with providers to administer both last year's shipment and this year's shipment this week to continue to exhaust first dose supply before next week's shipment arrives. So, if you're good with numbers, you probably understood all of that. But if you're not good with numbers, none of it made sense. But just follow the protocols of whoever's in charge of the particular place you're going. Restaurants should have more spaces. Maybe we'll have more people at concerts. Maybe I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But there is a study that shows no COVID spread from school sports. Only one case among 30,000 athletes who played during COVID peak. As the debate continues over allowing in-person classes in public schools, a new study shows the spread of the coronavirus is extremely low among school athletes, whose events tend not to accommodate social distancing. The study of more than 30,000 high school athletes who played fall sports in Wisconsin found that the study of more than 30,000 high school athletes who played fall sports in Wisconsin found that only one contracted the coronavirus. The researchers from the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine and Public Health discovered that the rate of infection among the students actually was lower than the rate among the general population of 14 to 17-year-olds during that time period. The rate among the athletes was 32.6 cases per 100,000 player days. Among the general population, it was 38.1. Further advocates for sending kids back to the classroom argue the CDC lists the survival rate of the coronavirus at 99.997% for ages birth to 19. Many studies indicate children are less likely than adults to be infected and less likely to spread the virus. For example, a nationwide Yale study indicates, found young children aren't associated with the spread, and a 400,000 person study in Iceland found that children under 15 are about half as likely as adults to be infected. And those infected are half as likely to transmit it to others. So of the 30,074 student-athletes examined in the Wisconsin student participated in 16,898 practices and 4,378 games during the peak spread of the coronavirus last fall. Of the 270 reported COVID-19 cases among the population, the vast majority was attributed to household and community contact. There were only 5 related to school, along with just 1 related to sports. The study also looked at the impact of masks, although the researchers conceded that because 84% of the student-athletes wore masks, they had difficulty getting a significant sample of non-mask wearers. So the studies are out there, and the anti-studies are out there, so we at some point have to make a decision which one of those categories are we going to. Some doctors say, hey, get rid of those masks. Some doctors say, hey, keep those masks on, wear 2 of them. And put pantyhose over your face, even make it even better. So we're still trying our best to accommodate what's best for the population. 21 minutes after 8 o'clock, Sheriff's Report coming up here in just a few.
It's the Celebrate Great event at Carolina West Wireless. Come in today for great deals on all your favorite iPhones, like $350 off the new iPhone 12 or $300 off other select iPhones, including the iPhone 12 mini. Plus, get even more great savings with an unlimited data plan including 4 lines for just $35 per line per month, all backed by our powerful nationwide high-speed network. So you can go stay connected wherever your travels take you. Come into Carolina West Wireless and celebrate great today. Carolina West Wireless. Go stay connected. Certain restrictions or conditions may apply. See store for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
Hello, this is John Higgins with Smith's Drugs of Forest City. We are very excited to begin offering a rapid COVID-19 test, along with the COVID-19 vaccinations when Phase 2 begins. To find out more about these opportunities here at Smith's Drugs, please check out our website at www.smithsdrugsfc.com and our Facebook page for updates when testing and vaccinations will begin. We plan to schedule appointments for testing and the vaccination through our website, which will have links from our Facebook page. If you have any questions, please call us at 828-245-4591. Thank you, and we look forward to serving you here at Smith's Drugs of Forest City.
Thank you very much, John. Now let's listen to Sheriff Chris Francis. He had the report for us earlier. We recorded it for broadcast at this time. Sheriff?
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has responded to 97 calls for service. There have been 14 arrests processed to county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 148. Among those arrested, James Donald Dover, 43-year-old male of Rutherford, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 secure bond. Timothy Lloyd Green, 44-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with obtaining property by false pretense and possession of stolen property, received a $15,000 bond. Dominique Marquez Mills, 24-year-old male of Spindale, was charged with possession of Schedule 2, carrying a concealed gun, possession of Schedule 6, received a $13,000 secure bond. Jahari Charlton Woods, 45-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with possession of Schedule 2 methamphetamine, larceny of a firearm, breaking and entering and larceny, and received I believe a $54,000 secure bond. Davis Lee Vickers, 29-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with 2 counts of failure to appear and received a $500 secure bond. Jonathan Andrew Price, 25-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with 6 counts of failure to appear and received a $6,500 secure bond. Brittany Nicole Baden, 33-year-old female of Mooresboro, was charged with failure to appear and received a $5,000 secure bond. Timothy Dale Frazier, 55-year-old male of Shelby, was charged with possession with intent to manufacture, sell, and deliver meth, possession of Schedule 2 narcotics, and possession of Schedule 3 narcotics, and received a $15,000 secure bond. Julian Hunter Bailey, 25-year-old male of Rutland, was charged with trespass and received a $500 secure bond. Among our incidents, we had a lost property, the roads of Rutherford County. The victim had left a box containing 3 handguns, 2 Sky 9mm handguns, $250 apiece, and a Ruger LCP in a box in the back of his truck, and it had gotten away when he drove off, still unable to locate this time. Had a damage to property on Block Drive in Forest City. Someone damaged the mailbox, appears to be intentional, causing at least $20 worth of damage. And Jim, that's what we had to report today. Jim, I would like to make one other comment. The deputies did a great job putting out the nixle yesterday afternoon around 5 o'clock. By 5:45, we had the suspect in custody for a B&E to residents. Folks on the road there on Wallace Road where the incident had occurred saw a vehicle dropping a man off and him going into the woods, matching the description of the nixle that we had put out just an hour, less than an hour before, and we were able to get Jahari Woods in custody. And that very appreciative of the deputies, the detectives, and the citizens who called that in.
Us, and I don't know how many teams can say this, this is our 4th road win in a row, and that's pretty impressive.
North Carolina scored first, but did not lead the rest of the way as Marquette answered with a 14-2 run and beat the Tar Heels 83-70. The Heels added the game to their schedule just 4 days earlier to help make up for 4 others that were postponed due to COVID issues. And after Roy Williams chalked it up to bad coaching, he was asked what would he say to Carolina fans who questioned whether it made sense to schedule the game with Marquette, considering the results.
Well, if I'd known we were going to lose, God almighty, I wouldn't schedule the thing. Come on, we can't operate in damn hindsight. God almighty. If you'd told me we were going to lose, hell yeah, we wouldn't have played the game. If you'd told me we were going to beat the Lakers, I'd have scheduled them. Carolina fans, they're not that dumb. If they are, I got no answers for them.
It was just the 18th time that Carolina dropped a non-conference game in the 35-year history of the Dean Smith Center. In other action, Clemson held Wake Forest to its 3rd fewest point total in the shot clock era as the Tigers dumped the Deacs 60-39 in Winston-Salem. Number 11 Florida State coasted past Miami. On the pro court, Malik Monk scored 29 points off the bench, and LaMelo Ball added 20 with 8 helpers as the Hornets cooled off the Suns 124-121. On the ice, the Carolina Hurricanes opened a 5-game road trip with a 3-0 loss to the defending Stanley Cup champion Lightning. It's the first time this season that the Hurricanes have lost 2 in a row. This is NCN Sports.
If you work in the construction industry, good communication plays an important role in helping to prevent the spread of COVID-19 on your worksite. Always follow and share your company's safety procedures. Anytime you have questions or if you see safety protocol not being followed, speak up. Together, we can help prevent the spread of COVID-19. To learn more about COVID-19 best safety practices, visit ncunitedagainstthevirus.org. That's ncunitedagainstthevirus.org. Construction, we're built for safety.
If you control farmland in eastern North Carolina and looking for the best use of your farm, you'll want to know about the Harvey Cotton Success Program. Cotton prices are rising, and Harvey's, with nearly 150 years of helping solve problems for North Carolina farmers, introduces a truly turnkey, one-stop cotton solution without the need for third-party financing. Now is the time to consider cotton. Learn more about how you can take advantage of the Harvey Cotton Success Program at harveyfertilizerandgas.com.
Because of the state's coronavirus trends declining and stabilizing, the governor on Wednesday announced a number of restrictions will be eased. They include fans being allowed back into PNC Arena at a 15% capacity. The Hurricanes immediately announcing that they will have fans back beginning March 4th when they host the Detroit Red Wings. Canes president and GM Don Waddell says 15% of the fans returning is more about getting back to normal than turning a profit.
I think what it is giving us the opportunity to prove we do it right at 15%. At a later date, add that percentage much higher.
No charges are being filed in the accident that said Tiger Woods' SUV off a winding California road. The sheriff of L.A. County characterized the crash that seriously injured Tiger Woods as purely an accident. Deputies did not see any evidence that the 15-time major champion was impaired. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Hello and happy Thursday. This afternoon we'll see another mostly sunny to partly cloudy sky. Few more clouds possible today with highs in the mid to upper 60s. Mostly clear to partly cloudy overnight tonight. We start in the upper 30s and low 40s Friday morning. We start dry for Friday, but scattered showers arrive Friday afternoon. Better rain chance by Friday evening and overnight. Highs Friday only in the mid to upper 40s. Some showers this weekend. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Thank you very much, Zach Malak. Jim Bishop here in the Blue Room with our temperature reading. According to Peter the meter reader, it's 51 already, warming up to 67 degrees, and what a beautiful day it is in the neighborhood. Well, with all that opening up that governor is trying to implement now, we just got word from the North Carolina Agriculture Commissioner Steve Troxler. He said yesterday that there will be state fairs this fall. And he encouraged people to get vaccinated to ensure the events will be safe in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. As you know, last year's fairs were called off and canceled, as was the Ellenboro Fair. Truckers had planned to run away not only to bring back the NC State Fair in Raleigh, but also to hold the Mountain State Fair in Fletcher in September. A year without a state fair was almost unendurable, Truckers said in a remark streamed on Facebook by the North Carolina Farm Bureau. So we're working very hard to make this the best state fair that anyone has ever seen, and with your help, it will be the biggest state fair that we've ever seen. In July 2020, State Fair was canceled because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Truckers said at the time that officials waited as long as they could, hoping the fair could go on. The State Fairground lost $9.2 million in revenue in the past year because of cancellations, including both fairs. The 2021 NC State Fair is scheduled for October the 14th through the 24th. The Mountain State Fair is scheduled for September the 10th through the 19th at the Western North Carolina Agricultural Center. $9.2 million lost revenue because the two state fairs had to be canceled last year. Well, that is good news for a lot of folks who love to go to the fair and show off their agriculture and the cattle and the handicrafts and those kind of things. It's a great thing for North Carolina. So hopefully that will happen and they will not have to cancel anything else. And hopefully the Ellenboro Fair will go on as per usual. It was not did not happen last year, as many of the festivals last year did not happen. The Fall Fest in Rutherfordton did not happen. Mayfest did not happen. The car show in Forest City did not happen. A lot of things did not happen. The community turning on of the lights with all the festivities and gathering of the crowds in downtown Forest City Thanksgiving night did not happen. So a lot of things did not happen last year. We didn't get out on the streets and businesses and help broadcast from grand openings and special events. That didn't happen last year. So a lot of businesses closed last year. A lot of them closed temporarily, some closed permanently. So we're hoping things are beginning at least to see the light and things but opening up again. They canceled high school football from last fall and moved it to springtime, almost springtime. So tonight is the first night of high school football locally. Two teams set for tonight. Chase is set to make a trip to Cherryville for an unconference showdown, while the Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy will travel to Community School of Davidson for a conference game. TJ is slated to kick off at 6:30. Chase will kick off at 7. Chase will hit the road for head coach Chris Cogdell's first game as the head coach, traveling to Cherryville to face the Ironmen. In 2019, Chase beat Cherryville 40-0, and Coach Cogdell said he's just glad the kids are getting back in action to play. Thomas Jefferson will be traveling to Community School of Davidson when the Griffons take the field. They will face a CSD team coming off a 5-7 season in 2019. Griffons head coach Jerry Cash says his players are ready for action and are ready for the challenge. So good luck to both of those teams. They're on the road tonight. And then tomorrow night, of course, right here at home, two of our local teams, RS at East Rutherford. That'll be the opening game of the season, regular season. And the countdown to kickoff is 6:30, broadcast at 7 o'clock. We'll have that broadcast right here on WCAB 100.9 FM, 590 AM. Tell your friends and neighbors they can hear all that action because it's going to be limited to how many people get to go in. Don't know yet what that number is, but we're trying to find out exactly sort of an estimate how many people can go inside the stadium to watch the game in person. It'd be a shame for the parents and the grandparents not to see their son out there on the field. I don't know how that's going to work out just yet, but we'll try to find out, let you know. Of course, I'm sure they'll pass that information on to those of you who are parents and grandparents, but those of you who are just excited about high school football, you may or may not get to go in, depending on the numbers that they're holding there at the gate. So we'll just be patient and don't argue and don't fuss about it. If you get there, have to be turned away. Don't fuss about it. Just do your thing and go home and wash your hands, put your mask on, and stand 6 feet away from your wife or whatever. Just have a good time with the season opening up. Now, I understand there is something going on in Rutherfordton this afternoon about 1 o'clock. They sort of played this a little close to the chest for whatever reason. I don't know. I think they're having a ribbon cutting at the new Kiwanis Park there in Rutherfordton. If you've been passing down Green Street or Main Street, you've seen a lot of work going on, and it is really looking mighty good and it's a great asset to the town of Rutherfordton and the community. I think they are having some kind of, I don't know if it's a private thing or not, but ribbon cutting for that facility. And we compliment the Kiwanis Club of Rutherfordton for their efforts in that, and also the town of Rutherfordton for their efforts in that, and everybody who's been involved. It really looks good, and it needs to be broadcast out or showplaced. I don't know why the secrecy of that, but anyway, I believe they're doing that. So I'm sure they'll have a spacing thing there. We can't get too close to each other. Don't want you to get too close to anybody there. But anyway, let's hope that goes well. The weather's perfect for it. They could not have chosen a better day for it weather-wise than that. Well, there's a couple of things in just a moment I want to talk to you about. It's really, really important that you know. But first of all, let me mention some of the council crowd that's out there. The principal chief of the Cherokee Nations is now demanding that Jeep stop using the tribe's name on its SUVs. The Jeep Cherokee, you've seen those, many of you drive one, because the chief says it does not honor them by having their name plastered on the side of a car. Council culture has recently come around full circle. Jeep started using the Cherokee name more than 45 years ago, including on the brand's top-selling Grand Cherokee SUV. It also offers a smaller SUV called the Cherokee, which was the third best-selling vehicle last year in the U.S. Chief Chuck Hoskins Jr. of the Cherokee Nation said, "I think we're in a day and age in this country where it's time for both corporations and team sports to retire the use of Native American names, images, and mascots from their products, team jerseys, and sports in general." He goes on to say, "I'm sure this comes from a place that is well intended, but it does not honor us by having our name plastered on the side of a car." Well, last time I looked, it is not on the side of the car. It's generally on the back. Jeep Cherokee, maybe they got them with plastered on the side of the car, but I don't remember ever having seen one. He says, "My view is that a corporation shouldn't be marketing its products using our name. For the Jeep company, I think they took it as something they conceived of decades ago, and I think that they very much, in good faith, believe this is honoring the Cherokee people. I disagree, and we've had this name a bit longer than the Jeep company has. We've had it since before recorded history. Cherokee." In an email statement, Jeep said it's more than ever committed to a respectful and open dialogue with Cherokee Nation Principal Chief Chuck Hoskins Jr. The company says its vehicle names have been carefully chosen and nurtured over the years to honor and celebrate the Native American people for their nobility, prowess, and pride. Now, how many chiefs have gone by the Cherokee Nation, been elected as chief of the Cherokee Nation over the years, and nobody said anything about it, but all of a sudden it's a major fiasco that a Jeep best-selling car, one of the best-selling cars with the name Cherokee, is going to be abolished, it sounds like. I wonder if they're going to go back down to Gaffney, South Carolina, and remove the name Cherokee County, because that's the name of a Cherokee Nation, right? So if they're going to take the Cherokee off the Jeep, why not take Cherokee off the county name there in Gaffney, South Carolina, and Blacksburg, and that area? I mean, how far is this stuff going? They ought to be proud of the fact that they're so well recognized and so honored that they got a super car like this Jeep, nice custom-made car, beautiful, sporty car, that they got a name like Cherokee. I don't know this chief. I used to know quite a few of the chiefs up there years ago, but I don't know this one. I suspect he's probably a young college graduate that's caught up in the council community. Or maybe somebody got to him from one of these council groups and said, "Hey, you guys ought to be upset because they got your name on a car." Well, if it's such a bad thing for company names to be on the side of a car, that puts NASCAR out of business. Although they don't have Cherokee, but they got company names all over the car, all over the uniforms. Put NASCAR out of business because they may be a driver on one of those NASCARs that's not quite see things the way we see things, and his politics may not be quite the way ours. So let's tear his clothes off of him, get his car off the track. He's not one of us. We don't want our company name on his car. See how silly this could get? All right, enough of that. Let's move on. 9:05 this morning, My Great America with Jim and Butch. He's out here in the lobby listening to me blow my stack in here, I think. But next time, Max Bozeman II, next time when we go through something, we can look back at this moment and say it was hard, but we persevered, and we got through it so we can get through it again. What's he talking about? Well, while Texans continue to recover from the catastrophic winter storm that struck on February 14th, leaving millions without power, food, or water, several good Samaritans have found ways to serve their neighbors in need. Now, this is a good positive story, aside from the fact that everybody's so upset about canceling all the history. This is a great positive story from Texas. With no electricity or heat at home, Raymond Garcia from Houston went to multiple houses within his community to help residents shut off their water and fix burst pipes. Garcia, who recently lost his mother to COVID, felt inspired to return the kindness that others had shown him following his loss. He said, "My mom always taught me if you help and give to people, God will always bless you. And you know what? I've been blessed." End quote. Max Bozeman II owns a Greasy Spoon Soul Food Bistro in Houston and knows firsthand the importance of asking people for help during difficult times. His restaurant was hit by COVID-19, so he wanted to give back to residents lacking basic necessities. So he coordinated a food and water drive, then gave away more than $7,000 last week to people affected by the storm. Bozeman told KTRK-TV, he said, "We're going through so much as a city, and we've come out of it. We've come out of it because tomorrow is always good. Next time when we go through something, we can look back at this moment and say it was hard, but we persevered and we got through it so we can get through it again," he said. And last week, one man was labeled a food angel for giving away hundreds of dollars to people waiting in line at a Foodorama in Houston. The grocery stores lost power, could no longer accept card payments from customers, so the unidentified citizens started handing out $20 to everyone. Isn't that a great story? See, there's still a lot of good things happening around, in spite of the council culture up in wherever they are, wherever they come from, out of the woodwork or wherever to counsel something. But here's something that's really serious, folks. I want you really to pay attention very carefully. I have a story on it from the Breaking Christian News, and also Franklin Graham has sent out a notice on this as well, and that is the dangerous so-called Equality Act that's cruising through Congress right now. The Equality Act sounds like positive. It sounds like, well, that sounds pretty good. That's how they do these things. They word these things real nicely. The Equality Act sounds positive, but behind that deceiving name is a bill, House Bill 5, being pushed through the House and Senate. This bill could impact basic religious freedoms in our nation like nothing else ever has. Here are just some of the concerns. Just some of them. There's many of them concerned. Here's some of the ones, and we've talked about that on this program in the past. So those of you regular listeners of my program know how upset I get over these kind of things. But because I think there's a way we can stop it if we'll just get off our duffs and do something about it. Start writing our congressmen. Start standing up to these folks. Here's some of the things that are in that Equality Act. Forcing young girls to share bathrooms and locker rooms with those who identify as female, although it may be male. Heard a story some time back. I take it to be true. I'm not sure. This guy was somewhere at a restaurant, and his young daughter, got up and went to the restroom in the restaurant, and a few minutes, this burly man got up and went into the same restroom. So her dad went in, and that man said, "I feel like a woman today, so I'm using this restroom." So that girl's daughter hit him in between the nose and knocked his front teeth out. He said, "I feel like a tooth fairy today." So that settled that issue pretty quickly. Not saying, not encouraging that. Don't get me wrong. Anyway, moving on. Some of the other elements of that bill make it illegal hate speech to talk about biblical identity, and it refers to homosexuality and gender. That would be hate speech. If your pastor talked about it, or you taught your children about it, or it would be considered hate speech if this bill passes. Here's another issue. Strip the rights of Christians to exercise their conscience as it refers to hiring and even paying for abortions. This bill is moving through the House very quickly, and soon it'll be in the Senate, where the left now holds a majority, as you know. So everybody who sees these things and studies these things as they are deeply concerned that this bill will be used to get rid of the filibuster, that this and other bad bills will then be passed by simple majority, unleashing tragic consequences. We don't need that to happen, folks. You need to write your congressman real quickly and tell him how you feel about it, because we don't need to pass. The Equality Act is a dangerous, dangerous threat to our nation. The House has already passed it one time previously, so it will likely pass the House again before moving it on to the Senate. So you need to contact your congressperson, your U.S. senator. The Equality Act designates schools, churches, and healthcare organizations as public accommodations. With this, schools, churches, and hospitals could be forced to accept the government's beliefs and mandates about sexual orientation and gender identity. That would be highly intrusive and incredible far-reaching. It will threaten everyday speech where people can be fined or lose their jobs for using the wrong names or pronouns. It's 8:46. I'm about to run out of time here. Let me do this, and I'll be back. We got a couple more minutes. I'll share just a couple more ideas because it's something you really need to know about. Don't turn your ears away from this, folks. That's how these things happen, because they do. No, they're not just doing what you think's right. They're doing things that you know is not right. And that's why we need to make noise and stand up and make a difference. If we stood up and made enough noise and make a difference, we wouldn't be in this shape up there in the House and the Senate right now. But too many people, it's going to work out. No, it's not just going to work out without our fight. I'll be back in just a moment. Wouldn't it be nice to get medical attention and not have to leave your home? Now you can, thanks to Remote MD. Remote MD is pleased to announce they have initiated a telemedicine program for residents in North Carolina. The telemedicine program is available to all residents in North Carolina, including Rutherford and Polk counties. It is designed to treat common medical illnesses right from your home. Now, isn't that great? No appointment is necessary, no waiting for days to see someone. This is a wonderful opportunity for people who are struggling financially or have a complicated insurance plan. But your health is important to you, and you want attention now. There are no copays or deductible, and unlimited usage programs start at just $59.99 a month. Learn more about this program. Contact Remote MD today at www.remotemd.net. Again, that's www.remotemd.net.
Get the most out of your tax refund with Bark Mobile's Refund Rack-Up event. Come in this tax season and get a great smartphone at a price you can't beat. Absolutely free. That's right. Get the popular LG Stylo 6 or LG K51 for free when you switch to Bark Mobile. Then rack up even more savings with unlimited data for $45 a month with AutoPay and take your tax refund to the max. Visit a store today to get the most with Bark Mobile. Mobile made easy. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details or visit mybarkmobile.com/terms and conditions.
This is Gilbert. If you owe the IRS past due taxes, don't call those toll-free national numbers. Local, affordable help is right here in Rutherford County. Stop garnishments, levies, and liens. Call Gilbert Carmona at 828-289-9300. All initial consultations are free. Call Gilbert, 828-289-9300.
And you can hear Gilbert Saturday mornings with an hour program at 8 o'clock. Very interesting and very entertaining program with Gilbert Carmona. Saturday mornings, 8 o'clock, right here live from our Blue Room. Well, this stuff I was just talking about a moment ago, it's not just here in America. It's happening around the world, as a matter of fact. Greg Jarrett is reporting with WorldNet Daily News that university there in Australia telling their staff to replace mother and father with gender-neutral terms. In an effort to appease to progressive emotion, staff at the Australian National University in Canberra have been instructed to do away with terms like mother and father and replace them with more gender-inclusive ones. The university's gender-inclusive handbook has requested that fathers be referred to as the, now listen to this, they have requested that fathers be referred to as the non-birthing parent and mothers as the gestational parent when discussing childbirth. While many students will identify as mothers or fathers, using these terms alone to describe parenthood excludes those who do not identify with gender binaries, the handbook says. So they're trying to strip away all of these things that makes us who we are as God created us. But this equality, I want you to look it up. Those of you who have access to computers and access, look it up and look up Franklin Graham. He's written a big expose on it. I want you to know more about it. I'll be discussing more of it. And Congresswoman Virginia Fox is going to be on with me in a couple of weeks. And I'll talk with her about it as well. I hope it hadn't gone too far at that point, so she can give us an explanation of what's happening. But write your congressman, write your senators, and let them know that you're opposed to this and why. Because we have a couple in North Carolina that's a little wayward right now, but they ought to be able to listen to this since it's, I mean, come on, it's just common sense. All right, let's see what else is going on. We'll talk about that some more when I have a little more time. But I'm running out of time, running out of wind, running out of water, running out of coffee, running out of biscuits, running out of everything. I'm just kidding. Well, CNN host Chris Cuomo, you've seen him, and a columnist for the New York Times discussed the political landscape in the country Monday night on CNN. The conclusion, according to Times columnist Tom Friedman, and one that Cuomo appeared to implicitly endorse, was that the Republican Party as currently constituted must be killed off. No, that's what I said. CNN's Chris Cuomo, Tom Friedman, was endorsing Republican Party as currently constituted must be killed off. Now, who made them judge and jury? I want to know. And what has to be done, what has to be one of the least unifying segments we've seen thus far on a primetime cable TV news program amid the country's unprecedented state of division, Cuomo started by introducing Friedman, noting that the columnist had assessed that the country cannot survive unless one of its two major political parties dies. Cuomo said, "My next guest says for America to live, this party has to die." Let's bring in New York Times columnist Tom Friedman, welcoming the establishment media journalist onto the show. Well, of course, just using the word die will have the whole righty fringe throwing you under the bus as the real person asking for violence, Cuomo quipped. Cuomo then directed his negative energy towards Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who might be the least popular person in Washington at this moment. Two have you evers, and what do they mean, he asked Freeman. The first have you ever seen somebody make a political move the way McConnell did in voting to acquit and then following up with the exact rationale as for why he should have been convicted? The question was, of course, in reference to McConnell's decision to vote not to convict former President Donald Trump at the conclusion of last week's Senate impeachment trial. But McConnell then immediately attacked Trump, saying that the former president was practically and morally responsible for the January 6th incursion at the U.S. Capitol. See, I don't know what's in the minds of Mitch McConnell. Sometimes I wonder. Well, this guy goes on and says, "Well, Chris, I think everyone has pretty well covered the fact that the hypocrisy of Mitch McConnell was as big as all outdoors." Friedman said of McConnell, in concluding the portion of the conversation where either man said anything was sensibly of lucidity. So they began to proceed about how hypocritical Mitch McConnell is and how hypocritical the Republican Party is, and they can't even see their nose in spite of their face on issues that they've been so hypocritical on themselves. Well, folks, listen, this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day outside. The sun is shining beautifully, so we'll warm up real nicely. So I hope you can take a stroll in the park today. Go downtown on the Parkway there and walk, or go up to Rutherford then and walk the Parkway, go to Spindale and walk. Hum a little song, put a little song in your heart, and know that we still know who is in charge of the whole thing, but we need to not just lay down and go to sleep. God always called these people to action. He never did. I don't believe I read anywhere in the Bible where he says, "Oh, you folks lay down over there, take it easy, I'll handle this thing." Yeah, we told them to do something, take action, take up your bed and walk. He didn't say, keep laying down there. I've healed you now. Just go ahead and lay down there a while. Take up your bed and walk. Follow me, he says. Throw your nets out here. He could have performed any kind of miracle and popped those fish in the boat if you wanted to. Throw your net over this side. Oh, we always done that. Throw it over there, like I said. So they did. He always calls us to action, always calls us to do something. Never sit down on a stool and do nothing. When we learn that, quicker we are, the better I think we're going to be able to get things done. Anyway, I'm going to move out of here, make room for My Great America with Jim and Butch. ABC News coming up in just a few moments. Right now, though, let's relax.
Sherry Preston. It's still a staggering amount, but the number of Americans who have filed first-time unemployment claims last week has dropped. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky.
730,000 laid-off Americans filed new claims for jobless benefits last week. That's better than it has been, but still higher than anything seen before the pandemic, and another sign the Labor Department remains challenged. Winter storms last week may have obscured the true picture of the workforce. Generally, though, virus restrictions have been lifting, and there's more activity among the service industry.
There are reports of another coronavirus variant showing up. Researchers from Columbia and Caltech say they've spotted 80 cases of the new mutation in the New York City region. Pfizer has told regulators it plans to test a variant-specific booster shot, offering a third dose to clinical trial participants. Moderna testing vaccines of the South African variant as Johnson & Johnson awaits authorization for its single-dose shot. All this as President Biden takes note of how many Americans have been vaccinated since his inauguration.
President Biden today holds an event marking a milestone. The administration says 50 million COVID-19 vaccine shots have been distributed to Americans since he took office, halfway to the president's goal of 100 million shots in his first 100 days. White House COVID-19 response coordinator Jeffrey Zients telling reporters Wednesday that for 5 consecutive weeks, the administration has increased vaccine supply to states, tribes, and territories, 14.5 million shots this week.
We've nearly doubled weekly supply of doses in just 5 weeks.
Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
In a statewide address last night, Texas Governor Greg Abbott promised to get answers on the massive power outages and water main breaks during last week's cold.
For those of you still hurting, I want you to know the state is using every possible resource to fix this problem.
Abbott says the state's nonprofit energy board promised they were prepared, and they were not. You're listening to ABC News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Starting today in Florida, CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference, begins. Former President Trump speaks on Sunday, but ABC's Andy Field says not all members of the GOP want to see him there.
In a Wednesday news conference, the 2 top Republicans in the House asked if President Trump should be speaking this weekend at a Florida Political Action Committee event. House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy.
Yes, he should.
But the Republican House third in command, Liz Cheney,
I don't believe that he should be playing a role in the future of the party.
which quickly ended the Republican news conference.
On that high note, thank you all very much.
Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
More than 3 years after going into a Missouri church to avoid deportation, a dad of 5 has finally stepped outside.
Hi, everyone.
Cheers and church bells ringing as Alex Garcia emerged from the Christ Church United Church of Christ in the St. Louis suburb of Maplewood. The married father of 5 sought sanctuary and had been cloistered there since 2017, when at the start of President Trump's administration, Garcia was told he would be deported. 3.5 years later, a new administration, and his wife Carly says
ICE made a promise that he is no longer a priority for deportation.
Emerging after 1,252 days, Garcia saying he'll continue to fight for permanent protection. Dave Packer, ABC News.
YouTube rolling out a new set of controls for parents called Supervised Experiences. They give parents an option for tweens and teens who have outgrown the YouTube Kids app. This is ABC News.
So much is happening, but who can you trust? You need to check out Newsmax TV, the fastest growing news channel in America. Watch it on all major cable systems and see shows with Sean Spicer, Greg Kelly, Lindsey Keith, Stinchfield, and Rob Schmidt. They're giving you the real story on Biden and Pelosi. So download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone now or watch Newsmax on Roku, YouTube, Pluto, Zumo, and more. 30 million Americans watch Newsmax TV. So should you.
Sherry Preston, ABC News.
This is Gilbert. If you owe the IRS past due taxes, Don't call those toll-free national numbers. Local, affordable help is right here in Rutherford County. Stop garnishments, levies, and liens. Call Gilbert Carmona at 828-289-9300. All initial consultations are free. Call Gilbert, 828-289-9300.
Hello and happy Thursday. This afternoon we'll see another mostly sunny to partly cloudy sky. Few more clouds possible today with highs in the mid to upper 60s. Mostly clear to partly cloudy overnight tonight. We start in the upper 30s and low 40s Friday morning. We start dry for Friday, but scattered showers arrive Friday afternoon. Better rain chance by Friday evening and overnight. Highs Friday only in the mid to upper 40s. Some showers this weekend. I'm meteorologist Zach Moloch in the Weather Center.
It's warming up nicely. 54 degrees currently. Started out at 46. Warming up real fast. Sun shining out there. It's a beautiful day for in the neighborhood. So let's enjoy it and embrace it. It's 9:06.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch. A conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Good morning, Butch.
Hello, Jim. How are you this morning?
Fantastic.
You know what? I'm going to get to see you later today as well. I guess this evening we've got the local Republican Party meeting, and we'll be going to that.
Yes.
And, the great thing about America, one of many great things, is that, we can talk about national politics, we can talk about political candidates, but one of the great things is that in each locality around the country, people have the opportunity to exercise democracy.
Sure.
They can participate in our American experiment each and every day, each and every week, and have you been involved locally for a long time?
Been involved a long time because, as you said earlier, a long time ago, I first registered as a Democrat.
Right.
Many years ago. And
but you crossed over the Rubicon. You went over the bridge into a better understanding of things sooner than I did.
Long time ago, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm glad you came over.
Well, we have so many people that celebrate the Second Amendment here in our county. It's a good thing that I came over because I may have been strong-armed into the Republican Party. But, I love the fact that God illuminated my heart. I've often told people that from the time I can remember being involved politically, and I used to run for office, starting in the fourth grade, I ran for class president. And Jim, I'm saying this with humility. We're going to talk about the importance of being humble here in just a moment. But every time I ran, I won, and so fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth, I would always run for class president. And my real name is Dwight, by the way, and in high school, I ran for student body president and won that. It was during the days of tremendous racial discord. The Henrico County district court judge in Richmond, Virginia, had ordered court desegregation. And so I had to garner the black vote in order to win because it was 50-50 in our high school after desegregation. So I don't know how I came up with the campaign moniker that I did. My real name is Dwight, but the campaign for student body president at Warwick High School in Newport News, Virginia, in 1974, had the not so brilliant campaign slogan, "Be bright, vote Dwight." So,
that's pretty good.
No, it's not. It's not really
for high school elections.
For high school elections, and I had a lot of devils that needed to come out of me later in life because I was very Machiavellian. I was giving bags of candy to some of my folks that were on the campaign committee and telling people when they talked about my candidacy for student body president, they ought to give people a Snickers bar. So, I look back on it now, and the human nature, the human impulse to try to have power and influence, if it's not governed by the power of God and the principles that He gives us, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. The sacred cows don't always emit pure milk, do they?
That's right. But it's important, though, to know that you can use those kind of things to pinpoint the other differences in the other person's campaign as yours.
Right.
So there should be differences.
Well, it was really interesting, too. I remember this is a little bit of a rabbit trail, and we'll make sure the rabbit doesn't come into our conversation, the balance of it, because it's a fleeting 25 minutes that we have. But, there was real concern that an African-American girl would win homecoming. There was so much racial unrest, so they canceled homecoming. And one of the legacies, I guess, of my little student body administration there was we were able to resurrect homecoming by coming up with a different model, and Claire Chenault won, and she was a black girl, and the school survived through all of it. So, my inclination towards politics has been there since I was younger, but what I love is I love the order, the structure, and the truth that comes from Scripture. And when we remember our history and when we are guided by God's Word, some of these debates that take place, like Jim, I was watching, I asked you during one of the breaks, do I need to bring in a pill of nitroglycerin for you? Because I was concerned about your blood pressure. The reality is some of these debates should not be debates at all.
That's right.
The right to life should not be something that's debated in the halls of Congress or declared from pulpits around America somehow being variable. I love the words of Ronald Reagan. Don't you miss him?
Oh, I do.
Listen to this. When we talk about the Equality Act, when we talk about, expanding abortion rights around the world, which is happening under the current administration, under the Biden administration, listen to this. Ronald Reagan spoke of the transcendent right to life, and this is what he said. Abraham Lincoln recognized that we could not survive as a free land when some men could decide that others were not fit to be free and should therefore be slaves. Likewise, we cannot survive as a free nation when some men decide that others are not fit to live and should be abandoned to abortion or infanticide. My administration is dedicated to the preservation of America as a free land, and there is no cause more important for preserving that freedom than affirming the transcendent right to life of all human beings, the right without which no other rights have any meaning. Don't you miss the power and the precision and the laser-like, not rhetoric. I mean, that's God-birthed words right there. Don't you think?
Absolutely. I do miss him. I miss the wisdom that he had. I miss the love of America that he had. And he was just all American. From the very outset, they judged him as being a nonsensical president. He's just a Hollywood star. But he proved to be a man after God's own heart. And he did some things, said some things, and fought some things that were very beneficial to the American people as we know it today and the conservative causes. But you can't always judge a book by its cover, as they say. And he was one of those that he's just a whimsical Hollywood star. He's not going to be a president, but he was. Very strong president.
Well, and there were people that were back there making what we call ad hominem arguments. The Latin term ad hominem means that it's an argument where you attack the person, you don't deal with the issues. And I can remember even back then, and of course I was a fledgling Democrat, I can remember, though, that my heart was moved, particularly after the assassination attempt on him. And there was a sense that God had his hand on the man. And this is an interesting side note. Now that my senses and my memory aren't dulled by the influence of alcohol, as I became, in my testimony I share, I became a alcoholic later in life, trying to deaden the pain in large measure of some early childhood trauma, and then also a divorce that I didn't want or expect after 23 years of marriage. But I can remember now some things that I wasn't able to really tap into, Jim, in a positive way, because the cloud of that alcoholism is gone because of God's gracious deliverance in my life, for which I'm grateful every single day. And it's in no small measure due to the power and the faith of a community of faith that I'm a part of at Word of Faith Fellowship here locally. But John Hinckley, his father, Jack Hinckley, I came to know, and actually took some overseas trips with him because he was a very engaged philanthropic person with several organizations for whom I consulted. And so I got to know a little bit about his son, who they determined had schizophrenia. He was there at St. Elizabeth's Hospital for decades. And his parents lived in Williamsburg, Virginia, which was close to where I grew up. But I got to know a little bit about John Hinckley from his father, Jack. And I just remember then in those conversations thinking God's hand was really on our president. He should have been killed.
Yeah.
He should have been killed. And we need to remember each and every day and be so thankful in the spirit of Paul Harvey that this program was birthed in. He had a heart of gratitude all the time. We need to be thankful for the daily blessings that we have. Jim, we can't formulate a word unless God gives us the ability to do it. We cannot take the next breath unless God, it says in Scripture, it's in Him we live and move and have our being. And we've got to get to a place of humility and understanding all these grand debates about politics and faith and theology and philosophy are nothing unless we're on our knees saying, gracious God, thank you so much for the day that you've given us. Don't you think?
Absolutely. You know what? I'm thankful that God spared it, but as many people that hated Donald Trump, there was never an assassination attempt that we know about on his life. Ronald Reagan had one, Gerald Ford had one, but I never recall reading where there was an attempt on Donald Trump's life, which is amazing, and I thank God for it. But as much as he was hated, it's amazing that there was not one.
Right. And we need to really remember again that it's in humility that we approach God. It's in a recognition that, like it says in the book of James, our lives are like the vapor off a cooking pot, Jim. We're here and then we're gone. If you look at most of the cemeteries where there's a grave marker, what do you see? You see a date, a hyphen, and a date. And everything about our lives is what we do with a hyphen.
Between the, yeah.
But between the due dates there, and Scripture is very clear that it's appointed on us once to die, and then after that, of course, the judgment. But today I was really feeling like we ought to acknowledge the importance to have humility in our relationships, humility in our discussions, even the most frothy discussions that we have with people that are recalcitrant, people that just have no interest in knowing what truth is. We've got to find that place of wisdom that God will give us. And this morning I was reminded as I was reading Scripture in Jeremiah. It's Jeremiah chapter 9, and it's verse 23. It says, "Thus says the Lord, let not the one who is wise and skillful boast in his insight. Let not the one who is mighty and powerful boast in his strength. Let not the one who is rich boast in his temporal satisfactions and earthly abundance, but let the one who boasts boast only in this, that he acknowledges, understands, and knows me, and honors me as God, and recognizes without any doubt that I am the Lord who practices loving kindness, justice, and righteousness on the earth, for in these things I delight, says the Lord." We have a lot of people that stand up on bully pulpits and try to declare that they know, they believe, their convictions are right. If it's not tempered with the humility that God has called us to, Jim, we just become sounding brass and clinking cymbals, don't we?
Absolutely, and the Bible talks very plainly about that too. And without that love, then we become like a sounding bell. Nothing's there. Nothing. There's just the sound. No solid there.
Well, I remember I was making frequent trips from Dallas to New York when we were working. I was consulting with the American Bible Society. Interestingly enough, the second oldest continuous publication in the United States, not ministry publication or nonprofit publication. You know what it is? It's the American Bible Society's little magazine called The Record.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the American Bible Society started in 1816, and many of the founding fathers. It's one of the oldest organizations in the country. It used to be there on Broadway in New York City, but the founding fathers, many of them were involved in helping to incubate what became the American Bible Society. And of course, of the Bibles distributed around the world, there's a group in Reading, England, that I did some work with called United Bible Societies. I think about 170 Bible societies, Bible Society of Tibet, Bible Society of Nepal, around the world, and it's coordinated out of Reading, England, and it's called United Bible Societies, and almost 50%, it's a little bit like the United Nations and our contributions there, almost 50% of all the revenue used to distribute Bibles through the Bible Societies around the world comes from the United States. And there's an ingrained sense of philanthropy and charity and helping others. The only country that I've seen that's quite the same, several of the Scandinavian countries are that way, but Israel and the United States have a built-in ethic. Israel, when there's a crisis around the world, will often deploy to help with earthquakes, tsunamis, and the like, and they're even deploying many times to countries that hate them. It's a little bit like, people don't know this, the Israelis, when they are dealing with the Katyusha rocket attacks, and they've got to go in with their F-16s or now their F-35s and deal with these terrorist hornets' nest, they will often give notice to the neighborhoods, get out of there because we've got to deal with this. I mean, it's people just don't know the story behind the story. And with the manipulation of sound bites on social media and broadcast media, what we have in our day and age is we've got people living inside a matrix of not really understanding truth.
But you have to admire those folks who, like the folks who've been involved with the American Bible Society and the Gideons. Even I admire the folks of the Gideons that hand out Bibles throughout the world, and they committed to the fact getting up every Saturday morning and going and talk about.
There's actually a little Gideons group that I've gone over and said hello to here locally at Benny's.
Yes.
I remember one time I hadn't been here very long, and. It was the right thing to do. I felt prompted by Jesus to do it. I saw this big gathering of it was men that were there. Are there women Gideons?
I don't think so.
Okay, all right.
Maybe now, I don't know.
Well, that's a different discussion. But in the event, I walked over at Denny's and I said, I couldn't help but hear some of you mentioning Scripture, and I heard Jesus' name and God's name. My name is Butch, and I did that early on, and I still do that in the county, and. It's been a wonderful way to just kind of learn about all the different undulating personalities and things throughout the county. By the way, I stopped in and saw an old friend of yours.
Really?
Joy, over at Joy's Bridal.
Yes, Joy.
And she was so sweet. We got weddings, little weddings that are guided, of course, in the right kinds of ways during the days that we're living. But in any event, I had to go in there to get some things for my tux. And there was this sweet, diminutive woman that was there, and she was so kind, and she was so caring, and she was so helpful.
That's Joy.
And I finally said to her, I said, who owns this place? And with humility, she said, I do. And it was just so nice to talk to her about all the different. She just was kind, and you've known her for years, right?
And her name is absolutely correct, Joy. It's a joy to know her.
You know what? She was the more. She said, "Well, what size are you?" I said, "I'm not sure. I'm trying to make it smaller." And she said, "Well, let's check that out." So so sweet. There was something just so sweet. Yeah. It was an incarnational moment with Joy at Joy's Bridal, and we've got a lot of businesses around here like that, don't we?
She's a sweet lady. I love Joy. Wish I could see her more often. I need to stop in to see her.
You really do. And you know what? When I got done with the transaction, the business transaction, she said, we've got these plants over here. They were in little tin buckets. She said, why don't you take one of those? I mean, it was like a small town friendly moment in a world where I've experienced a lot of moments that aren't small town friendly. That was one that was clearly small town friendly. It was just wonderful.
I just wish you'd get a little more friendly and not be so closed in and isolated from people.
Well, you know what? I use your name when people like, who are you? Well, I'm a friend of Jim Bishop.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I'm learning a lot about you too, because I can tell what the reaction is, which is universally, Jim. Yeah, he's a friend, and he's someone I care for. I've been reading. It's important to guard your heart and guard your mind of what you read, but this is a great book by David McCullough on John Adams. Mm-hmm. And people often say, you get into history, and Butch, we appreciate that. It's one of the things people say they appreciate. They also appreciate the fact that you and I are legitimately very good friends. There's some people that you listen to, and it's like, oh, they tolerate each other for 30 minutes. But we don't do that. We have legitimate love and care for each other. This was so interesting. John Adams, I've been reading about him. It was very, very interesting in the spirit of us talking about pride. It was among the children of his children that Adams and his words to the wise would live longest in memory. This is what he said. The Lord deliver us. It was a letter he wrote to his family. The Lord deliver us from all family pride. He'd written to John Quincy's son, John, for example. No pride, John. No pride. You are not singular in your suspicions that you know but little, he had told Carolyn in response to her quandary over the riddles of life. The longer I live, the more I read, the more patiently I think, and the more anxiously I inquire of God, the less I seem to know. Do justly, love mercy, walk humbly. That is enough. So questions and so answers, your affectionate grandfather. At the end of his life, he was still trying to be a patriarch, directing people towards biblical truth. And we often say in my church, we don't know anything. We don't know anything unless God reveals it to us. John 5:30, it makes it very clear that Jesus said he only did what the Father told him, and then he waited and he decided in that moment, because we know if we pray the will of God, it will happen. Too many of us pray our own will, thoughts, aspirations, dreams, passions, and appetites. He felt that he lived in the greatest of times, that the 18th century, as he also told Jefferson, was for all its errors and vices the most honorable to human nature. His faith in God right up to the end, John Adams, remained unshaken. His fundamental creed, he had reduced to a single sentence: he who loves the workman and his work and does what he can to preserve and improve it shall be accepted by him. His confidence in the future of the country he had served so long and dutifully was in the final years of his life greater than ever. Human nature had not changed, however, for all the improvements, nor would it, he was sure. People needed God. Nor did he love life any less for its pain and terrible uncertainties. He remained as he had been, clear-eyed about the paradoxes of life and in his own nature. Once in a letter to his old friend Francis Van de Kemp, he had written, griefs towards the end of his life, griefs upon griefs, disappointments upon disappointments. What then? This is a merry, wonderful, interesting world, notwithstanding. And you know what, Jim? I just feel like so many people that bungee jump and parachute into depression, anxiety, anger, and bitterness are losing the precious morsel of life that we have, that God has given us. And again, the greatest question that we'll ever face, it's not a political question, are you a Republican or Democrat? It's not where you're going to live, what house are you going to buy, what car are you going to drive, or who you're going to marry, or what sports team you root for sure. The most important question, the seminal question of life for everyone, is the question, what will you do with Jesus? And our founding fathers had so many that made it clear in their writings and their words, their rhetoric, and their leadership in this nation that God blesses a nation that's built upon him, and God curses a nation that moves the landmarks. And we're moving the landmarks, Jim.
We are, we are moving the landmarks, and this is a whole other discussion for another time. But I'm wondering, as you were saying that, I'm wondering maybe because so many of our forefathers were Christians, had faith, believed in the scriptures, believed in prayer and the Bible. I'm wondering if maybe that's why the council culture is wanting to remove all of the historical literature out of the schools, so the kids don't read that stuff. They don't read that. They don't know what's behind our country. So perhaps that's where part of this is coming from.
I really believe it. I actually had a facilitated discussion, a sort of unplugged conversation with a dear old friend that I've reconnected with named Gordon Pennington. Gordon used to be, I mentioned him in an earlier broadcast on Tuesday. He used to be, among other things, vice president or director of brand marketing for Tommy Hilfiger. He used to hang out and party with people like Ralph Lauren and one of the Hemingways and others, but God's gotten a hold of his life, and we've reconnected. We actually did a couple of broadcasts yesterday with audio content, Jim, that we're going to have for My Great America, as you would direct us to do. But we were talking about this very item, that the reason the cancel culture wants to expunge from history the clear fingerprints of God that are there is because if you can do that, then you can make all things relative. I mean, who determines what's right? We have a culture that is defined in large measure by the statement, if it makes me happy, then it's okay for me. If it makes you happy, it's okay for you. If there's no eternal construct that helps bifurcate and differentiate between good and evil, God makes it very clear in Holy Scripture that there's evil that's real and palpable. There is a Satan, and there is God. And we know that he is greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. But make no mistake, we are in a battle and we're in a fight. And in the spirit of that, with a rousing rhetorical flourish that's not mine, but one of our former presidents, as the clock moves here, Jim, let me read this. This was Teddy Roosevelt in 1910. And for all of you patriots that are very discouraged, take this to heart. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the door of deeds could have been done better. The credit belongs to the man or woman who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither knew victory nor defeat. Our hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. Pick up your sword. Pick up your shield. Move into battle. It's my great America.
My great America. God bless America.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.
Hello and happy Thursday this afternoon.